Welcome to AAFS Uncut, where we talk about finance and property-related matters. Now, normally it's Leonard here. Hello, Leonard.
Hello, how you guys going?
Normally Leonard will host the show, but because we're talking about the mysterious world of the paranormal and things that go bump in the night, I thought I'll hijack this forum today, because this is like my favorite topics. So before we start, we've got Justin on here.
Hello.
We have the real boss, Elaine E.
Hello.
And everyone will know Leonard over here.
Hello, how you guys going?
All right. So we still can't decide what this, what do you call this subject or this headline of this podcast will be. So I'll just, whilst we're still deciding that, let's just kick off into the discussion. All right, guys. So we've got a scenario for the group. Okay. You know, we worked hard the year, you've got a bit of income now, you want a little bit of money in the lotto and you want to upgrade your owner-occupied house. You're looking at Mosman Park, it's an affluent area, it's got a nice private school there for your kids. So you've been looking for a few years now, and then this house pop up. It's a double-story house. It's like, oh, everything's all done, the gardens are done, you don't have to do any renovations to the house. And it's also selling about 15 to 20% below normal market value. So is this something that you will consider then, buying a house there? Based just on this superficial information?
Yeah, if it's 15-20% below market, absolutely.
Yeah. Elaine?
I will be very suspicious.
Oh, Elaine is always suspicious. Justin, how about you?
I think it's a bit of no-brainer because it's so much cheaper, right? That's the first thing that would catch my attention. I start asking but of course we're going to start asking the question, why is it so cheap?
Okay, so then what you do is then you take a picture of the house and you send it to your best friend. Because, hey, I'm thinking of putting an offer on this house. What do you reckon? And your friend comes back, goes, I think someone died in the house before. I think there's some history about that house. So then, out of curiosity, you sort of ring up the agent, and the agent goes, yes, this is the house that belongs to the infamous 2016 Perth suitcase murder. So I don't know if you heard about that, but this is where a fisherman in July 2016 at the Fremantle Traffic Bridge was fishing, and he hooked up the suitcase. And I do a bit of fishing in the Swan River myself, so you see all sorts of rubbish that float past in there. So this fisherman was thinking, could be like gold or money in this suitcase. So when he opened up the suitcase, it was the murdered body of Annabelle Chen. So this is the house where she was murdered by the ex-husband. So now
I can't imagine being the fisherman and finding a fucking body there.
Now, based on this information, would you buy the house?
So if I can, for me, if I can get good value out of it, and if it's for investment, I would buy it.
Yeah, you buy it. Elaine?
But then we talk about this being an owner-occupied though.
If it's an unoccupied, probably not.
Yes.
You don't live in it, Leonard.
Would you buy this house, Justin?
I probably not, because I don't want to have sleepless nights, and I probably would.
But it's cheap. 20% below market value, though.
It doesn't buy you the peace of mind, though. It is cheap. It's okay. It's okay as an investment, but for own occupied, maybe not.
Okay, I wouldn't. So Leonard will buy it. So Leonard, after you buy the house,
That's an investment.
No, like, let's say you buy, you sleep, you spend the first week there, in middle of the night you're sleeping, and then you can feel the woman body, cuddle you from the back, spooning you, and you're feeling this warm, fuzzy feelings like, oh, my wife never cuddles me. So nice for her to cuddle. But there's only one problem. My wife is in holiday in Indonesia. So, now that we've discussed this sort of scenario, I guess this leads us to the broader topic, which is, what do you look for or avoid when buying a house? So let's talk about five key things that we can discuss. Now, I want this discussion to be a little bit different, seeing that this is a all Asian panel. So I'm going to put a bit of Asian flavor to it, a bit of feng shui matters to it, yeah. So 5 things. So the first one we've talked about is history. Obviously, when you buy the house, it's important to find out a little bit of background, because if you buy a house with sort of bad energy, it's something that you may carry forward to the new owners of the house. Particularly if you're going to buy it for yourself, you may carry this negativity toward with you, or can affect your personal life and your working life. So it's a little bit important to find out. So I guess speaking to the agent before you buy the house about the history of the house is a good start. Now, the second point I want to talk about is house numbers. So we Asian people are quite superstitious about house numbers. So Justin, do you want to maybe give us some insight about things like like number 4 or number 8 or a combination of some of these numbers and what it can mean and things like that?
So one of the very first numbers that us Asians would prefer is number 8.
Oh yes.
Because, well, for those who don't understand what that really means, is in Chinese it does actually rhymes with prosperity, money, fa. Because the word itself means, the character itself means ba, and it rhymes with fa. Fa means fortune.
Ah.
So you want to get a house with lots of fortune, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's the very first thing that one of the very first reason why we would go for fa. We try to avoid number 4. Okay, why is it again? Because it rhymes with the character death. 死还有死 死 means death, die. Okay, so therefore Asian people would try to avoid that number 4, 14, 24, anything that involves 4.
How about if it's 48, 48? You see, bloody Chinese people are so confusing. So 48. So then you got death, you got prosperity. So what does 48 mean?
That means confusing. Confusion is a dilemma. It's hard to decide unless you really have to like the house very much.
Yeah. But Seifat means you will prosper until you die.
Oh, you can 8-4 as well. You can fast save. You can
You
get your
8-4,
fortune
oh.
until you die.
Oh,
It's a dilemma, isn't it?
so okay. So very confusing, huh? So
It
maybe,
is.
So maybe just buy a house that doesn't have 48 in it.
But it's
Yep.
it's interesting to see like some Asian country that I know, like even in hotels, for example, they would
Ooh.
remove
Hey.
the whole floor
Now,
of number 4.
now that you said it, I heard in Genting Hotel. Apparently, in Genting Hotel in Malaysia, there is no 13th floor.
Yeah, not yeah, correct.
Oh, never realized
But I
that.
heard that because it's haunted, so they shut the whole floor.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
So maybe Google that one. So Leonard, what house number is your house?
Number 8.
Oh, what, just 8?
Yes, number 8.
Oh, so
number 8.
that kind of explains why after this podcast you're going to Yelling Up. I believe you booked a holiday to Japan this year. New car.
Absolutely,
your
we've been
bride-
working. Yeah, that's because we've been working very hard, not because of number 8.
No, it's the house number. How about yours, Elaine?
Number 15.
Means nothing. Mine is 124. Yat Yi Sei. Apparently, it's not very good as well, is it?
Is that your house number?
Yeah, 124.
124.
Yat Yi Sei.
So what does that mean?
It means that many wives that I'll marry will always leave me because I'm very unlucky in love. I'm just a very sweet man.
I think you're making that up. Man.
Yeah, sort of.
Mine is 12. Mine
12.
is 1, 2.
Oh, 1, 2.
Actually, I was going to add something, right? If you don't understand what that really means, you don't understand the
No,
implication of it.
1, 2
like
is
say
good,
1,
12, yeah.
because you did mention 1, 2, 4. You're not too happy with that number, right? If you don't think about it, it shouldn't be bothering you.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a superstition.
No, I'm stuck there anyway.
No, it's the same thing. Okay, so for you, is the number 13 a good number for you?
I've actually lived in number 13 before when I was growing up.
Yep.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. That house is supposed to be lucky, but unlucky in Western culture because it's like Friday the 13th and all that. But in Asian culture, it's subsum, which means I think you shall live.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, so number 13
It's
in
lucky.
Asian countries is lucky. Okay.
It may be lucky for my parents, but it was unlucky for me because I used to get beatings from my parents every day. So that was not good for me when I was growing up because I was like smacked all the time.
I think that
No?
that is just how we've been brought up.
Okay then. So that's number 2. So it's house numbers in general for consideration. So the third point I want to talk about is now this one's quite interesting because I hear my parents talk about this when we were growing up. It's called samtalo.
Explain
Sorry,
to
Justin.
us.
Mm.
Explain to us.
Explain samtalo in English, perhaps.
Okay, what is samtalo?
Okay, so samtalo is Cantonese. So what that means is a junction. The first thing, okay, it's a different kind of junction. When you mention samtalo, it means I think the best way to describe it is a forky road. T junction is a kind of samtalo. Okay, Y junction is a kind of samtalo.
Right.
So how we understand is that if you stay close to samtalo or this kind of junction, it's going to be bad for your feng shui.
So if you're on the T junction, I
Yep.
believe it's the house where where the road actually
Ends.
ends and your house is in the front of the end of the road,
Yeah.
and a Y
Terminating.
junction is where is your house then?
Correct.
Where
If
it forks into the single road?
Yes, it will fork into, well, it can be into a single road. It can be split into two roads as well. As long as your house is somewhere around here, Y junction, the feng shui is not going to be good.
Because of the, is it the flow of energy?
Flow of energy is for one thing, but I just want to explain first. T junction, that's how I understand as well when we grew up. T junction, the feng shui is actually not that bad. It's just average. It's not good. It's not bad. But if your house is close to T junction, especially at the point here, it looks more like it looks like a scissors, isn't it?
Yes.
If you stay close to the point of the scissors,
You're gonna cut.
that should be very bad. You should be doing something for it. What should you be doing? I don't know.
So
Ask a feng shui master.
you see, but I've been quite nosy about this even when I was growing up. So I've noticed that some of the houses have got like the eight-sided mirror on the front of the house. What do you call that? Something's pai
Bakwa,
bakwa.
not bakwa. Bakwa is something that you can eat.
Not pai
It's
gao.
That's my favorite food.
Pai gao is a casino.
not
game.
bakwa. Bakwa is jerky.
Beef jerky,
Meat
yeah.
jerky.
Beef jerky.
Meat jerky.
Meat jerky.
So that is bakwa in Cantonese. Mandarin is called bakwa.
So what's the significance of the mirror that you put in the front of the house?
I think, well, if I'm not wrong, don't quote me on that. Don't come at me as well. It's meant to deflect
energy.
the bad energy
Yeah.
to somewhere else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe to your neighbor.
But
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
if you even like going back to the T junction, it sort of
Yes.
makes sense, even though if you're not familiar with the feng shui. I mean, you don't really want to live at the end of the T junction because all of the cars will be, with the lights on, it will disturb, your
No, correct.
sleep.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a feng shui kind of thing. It has a lot to do with your own psychology as well.
Correct, yeah.
Because your house is just facing all this incoming traffic.
Correct, yeah.
It may make you feel quite uneasy and quite uncomfortable as well. Imagine you staying in a house like that. You're not feeling pleasant most of the days. You're gonna have
And
a
at
moody
nighttime,
days.
at nighttime, you got all of the car lights coming in and out.
You're not in a good mood. Your
you-
missus not in a good mood, and you guys start to have a lot of friction. So the
but-
feng shui is not good.
But you just get a bigger mirror, right?
to reflect
Like
the lights.
a full-length mirror in the front of my house. Then if the girlfriend comes back bad mood, like can reflect her away. No, doesn't work. Like that.
Do you have fish tanks at home?
I do have one fish tank.
Okay, is it small, big?
Oh, small one.
Okay, so that's what some people say, right? Having a fish tank at home, especially the big one, proper one, it calms you down. It makes you feel quite well. It has that it gives you a sense of tranquility. It may help to, I don't know. I mean, like psychologically speaking, it helps. It does have that calming effect. What do you think? You have a
I heard you can keep a fish, but don't keep fighting fish because the fighting fish will create tension in a relationship at home.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Good one, yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Now let's move towards this side of the table, Elaine. So point number 4 that we want to talk about: what to look for or avoid when buying a house. Number 4, the layout of the house. So Elaine, what have you found out about how the house is structured? What is good and what is not good?
Well, according to the belief,
Ah.
the front door of your house should not be aligned to the back door of your house in a straight line.
Otherwise,
Otherwise, they just said that the energy comes in and it flows straight out
Straight out there.
to the back.
So when your income comes in, it's gonna go out straight to the back door.
well, how come my front door and the back door not aligned, but I'm always broke, huh, Leonard?
Exactly. And
Maybe
I've
it
got
is.
Huh?
and I've got my
Maybe it
front
is.
and I've got my front door aligned to my back door. I don't feel broke that
Yeah,
way.
and Elaine got more money than me. So how? Well, this is just Chinese superstition stuff.
Okay.
Who knows? But I've heard this because the energy of the feng shui of the house is when the luck or the good fortune comes in, it shouldn't be facing the back door because then it doesn't stay in the household for long. So they do say try not to keep it sort of front door back door aligned.
But I find that in summer, if I were to open my front door and I open my back door or just my side yard, the house is so much cooler because the wind comes in one way.
Then you just got to have a net at the back to collect all the money when the money doesn't go out on the back door. Yeah. So what other things about layout the house that you know? Is it like the front of the house needs to be bigger than the back of the house? Is there like shapes of the house that you should be avoiding?
For me, I remember my brother-in-law was complaining about my layout of the house where the front entrance is actually on the side, and apparently that's a no-no as well.
The front door is
The front
actually
door,
on
yeah.
the side
So the
of the
entrance
house.
door, the entrance door is actually not in front of the house, but it's on the side. So I've got a side entrance.
But that's good. If someone wants to break into your house, the burglar wouldn't know
Exactly.
which way to go
So
in the house.
I've got a Uber delivery last night. The guy called me and he goes, sir, I can't find your front door. So I thought that was a bit funny.
So I threw the food through your window.
It's like,
Yeah, okay. So layout the house is important. Now the fifth one. The fifth one is position of the block. So Elaine, again, you've done some reading on this. So tell us about the position of the land. How does that impact, whether it's good energy or bad energy when you buy a house?
Well, from what I read is that if the front yard of the block is sort of in a inclined slope, that's a good one.
Inclined slope.
Inclined slope. So this is the main road and
Gotta go-
the
gotta
land
go up.
you gotta go up way.
So what does that mean?
It means that the value of the house can only go one way. It's up.
So what happens if I'm on the back of the block, I'm looking down? So then my block now become declined.
I'm not quite sure about that.
So it's how you look at the block. So no, so
No,
it's gonna be
structurally, from where you look, I'm not quite sure. But if the land of the house is slightly higher than the main road, or it is in a way that is sloped upwards.
Oh, so now I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get like a spirit leveler and just check my block. Then if my block is not up, I'll just have to dig my neighbor's sand and pack in the back and make it slope up.
Oh, yeah, or you can put a thicker slab.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that.
From building cost perspective, either one will be very expensive for the build. You want a flat land.
Flatland. Okay, what happens if the block is a sunken block?
Oh, well, you're gonna get a lot of problems in a relationship.
Because they always say shit flows downhill,
Downwards.
doesn't it? So sunken block, I've also heard is not a good thing. Have you heard about that, Justin?
Yes.
Why? Generally, it's just because I think all the negativity just goes downhill or goes down. So you want to be up in the hill. So
Well, I would think from a very logical perspective, when it rains and it
Correct,
rains
yeah.
heavily,
You'll
where
be-
does all the water go?
it goes
down.
down to the
No
sunken
sound.
block. Then,
Yep.
or how about when a tsunami hits?
Oh, tsunami is too big.
Then-
You don't have to go that big.
Then, based on this philosophy, we should all move up Kalamanda. Then it should be like a real
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Just be careful of the bushfire over there.
That's true.
Oh shit!
Oh, we're in Australia.
Oh bloody hell! Okay, so the objective is yes, go invest and buy in Kalamanda and make sure your insurance does have bushfire cover. All right, now we've looked at what to look for or avoid when buying a house. That moves on to the second broad topic, which is after you buy your house, what can you do to bring positive energy into the house? Okay, so we want to talk about 5 things in this broad topic. So the first one I want to talk about is roll pineapple or throw rice in the house. So Leonard, when you bought the house, you did do the pineapple thing, didn't you? Tell us.
We did, yeah. So my wife's family is into all of these things. So they recommend us to buy a pineapple with the, with the hair or something. What do you-
Leaves.
Leaves.
Totally pineapple.
Pineapple don't have hair.
And I didn't know about that, and I ended up buying the one without the
hair.
leaves. Without the leaves.
Hairless.
Hairless pineapple, yeah. But anyway, I have to go back to Coles or Woolies or whatever that is, and come back with the proper one. But again, I think Justin, I need your help here. What was the reason? There was something to do with the similar name or something of pineapple in Cantonese.
It's actually not Cantonese.
It's-
It's because in Hokkien
Oh, Hokkien, sorry, not here. It's correct. Hokkien.
it means online. Mandarin is Huang Li.
Yeah.
Hokkien is Ong Lai. So Ong is a prosperity.
Yeah.
Ong, all the good stuff. Ong,
Yeah.
Ong, right? Lai, Lai.
Yeah.
So all the good stuff will come.
Yeah. So is
That's
that
why
why
you
your
got
last
Ong Lai.
name is Justin Ong? as
No
well?
wonder
A different kind of Ong, but it's the same. It's the same pronunciation, but it's a different kind of
No
Ong.
wonder bloody Leonard's so rich. He's got the pineapple
Apple,
on. Live in
yeah.
house number 8.
And lucky that
Yeah.
lucky that you got that hairless to be replaced by a hairful
Food.
Ong
Pineapple.
Lai.
No, that's because Leonard didn't listen to the wife the first time properly. So he has to go back and got scolding from the wife. So that's what it is. So so when I bought my first house, like 86 years ago, my father
86 years ago.
yeah, long time, very long time. I'm still in my first house. So my father sprinkled rice.
How old are you, man?
you a
86?
vampire?
Huh?
Are you a vampire?
No, I'm only like 28.
How did you buy your house 86 years ago?
I don't know. Back to the future. So my dad actually threw raw rice on every single corner of the house. I didn't do it. My dad did it, and I said, "What's that for?" Dad, so it's to appease the gods. And I'm saying, "What God?" He goes, "Any God that want to listen to you. Can be Buddha, can be Allah, can be Jesus, whatever. Just put some rice." So, but he did throw the rice on each corner. So I was like, okay. So that was a bit unusual for me, but he did it. Has anyone experienced that culture? The
I didn't
rice?
throw the rice, but we did cook. Got a rice cooker. Cook some rice before we come into the house.
So what's the purpose of the cooking of the rice?
I have no fucking idea. But I think it was just to invite positive energy as well. I think
You
that's
sure
the
not
point.
invite homeless people come and stay in the house?
Uh,
Well, that brings us to the second point, which is this is actually Elaine's point, right? Is to turn on the lights and open the windows. So Elaine, would you like to elaborate what the turning on the lights and opening the windows?
Well, if I moved into a new house, I would want to check all the lights are working, isn't it?
Yes, but what's the purpose? Is it to keep, make the house bright, push away all the negative energy, live your life in the light and not in darkness?
Yeah, you can sort of say that, but well, I'm not personally. I'm not a believer of such things. So I'm more a practical person. I'm turning on the lights to check it if it's working. The switches are working. Everything is okay. The windows open.
What about if you live in a high crime area like mine? You want to leave the windows open or?
No. I wouldn't leave it open.
And then you turn on the lights. The electricity costs very high now these days.
Just to check for 5 minutes.
Oh, for 5 minutes. Okay. So there you go. Turning on lights and opening windows. I actually do the open window, open door thing. This is, I don't know, this is just my thing, And because like I'm living, I've got my Asian culture and I've got my Western, community that I live in. So I do it for Chinese New Year and for, the Western New Year's Eve. On Chinese New Year Eve and Western New Year. So I stay up till like 12 o'clock. So just before 12 o'clock, I open up all the windows and the doors.
for Chinese,
Because I still cannot decide which culture I'm going to embrace. So you know what? Just the kiasu, I do both. Kiasu means I'm scared to lose, so I do both cultures.
must be a Singaporean thing.
No, it's just my thing. I do it. So just in my mind, it's like just let the old energy out and bring the new energy in. So that's what I this is just my thing that I do every year.
And one thing that I forgot as well, when I remember when we moved into the house, it was like they have to be like certain dates as well, and certain time. I think because
yes.
apparently that's there's a bit of a good luck and bad luck as well if you come in. At
Yes, because without mentioning names, we had one customer this year that says you must not settle in that week of what do you call where you're cleaning the ancestor tombs?
Cheng
Cheng She goes, it's bad luck to settle in this week, so not to settle because of that. I was like,
So for my own house, when we move in, so we were given instruction that we have to move in on the 8th of March, and we have to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that was like really specific in terms of the timing.
And that is why Leonard is going to Japan holiday this year.
Yeah,
buy new
he's
car.
done all the right things, it seems. Well done.
So before we move on to the next topic, so what I've personally mentioned, so I always open my doors and my windows before Chinese New Year or Western New Year. There's also one more thing that I do. that I do that I have to do, when I open up the windows and the doors is when I do Indian cooking in the house. Very smelly. We got to open up. Okay, third point is burn incense, or in Asian called hyong. Justin, tell us about the burning of the hyong.
Okay. Hyung.
What is hyong?
Hyung is an incense. That's what it's called. It's an incense.
Now, what's incense?
It's just imagine you have a steak. It's a long steak. You can burn it. Once it's burned, it will last for probably 15-20 minutes, depending on the length of the incense. It smells good, but the implications is to serve.
Ooh.
The key question is who are you serving, right? Whoever is there that you can't see, you want to make sure you want to pay the respect and to say, hey, I'm here. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but here's some.
But is the hyong, does it attract the good stuff, or can the hyong also attract the bad stuff? Or is this one of those things that we're not sure?
I'm not sure. I personally think that the implication is to just to pay respect.
I think it's your intention,
not
isn't
trying
it?
to attract anything.
Yeah.
But it's just you're right.
I think it's your
just to
intention.
show your intention. I'm here for good intention. I'm not here to press any button. Not to
So,
offend anyone.
do you do this, Elaine?
Nope.
Leonard?
We did that. Yeah,
Do you still do it?
yeah. Because my wife religion is, she's a Buddhist, and she does
The incense, no?
does incense.
Do you do this?
To ancestors, yes.
So this is where I deviate from the Asian culture. Sorry, mom, dad. I do the sage. Why? Because it's just something that I've heard people talk about, burning sage. So it's a Western culture, I guess. So I burn sage in the house, and it's the same thing. It's like it's for cleansing the house, and it's just really when you're doing it, it's just the intention that you want. I do it. There's no fixed time or rules. It's when I think I want to do it. But interestingly enough, is I go by feel. I feel the best time to do it is when it's overcast or just about to rain, when the air in the atmosphere is the heaviest. Because I think it's electrified. So burning of the sage or maybe the hyong will tend to, in my mind, send that intention or communication stronger. So I tend to do it when it's overcast or about to rain.
I burn fragrance candles. Does that count to any of these?
You are just praying to the goddess of beauty. Okay, now move on to the fourth point. This is really important, I think, because it's like we spend a lot of time in the bedroom. Okay, we spend 1/3 of our life sleeping, and then the 2/3 of our life working for Leonard. This is my life. So one third of your time in the bedroom. So the house is important because the roof over your head, but the bedroom, I guess, is even more significant because this is where you rest. This is where you're most vulnerable as well. So I want to talk about the layout of the bed. Elaine, tell us, how is the bed meant to be laid out, or what you should do, what should you avoid?
Okay, the rule is that your bed should not be facing the door or the window.
Ooh, okay.
It should, if your door is here, you gotta go the opposite way, not align with the door.
What, so your feet facing away from the door?
Yes, correct.
So if it's if the head facing the door, it's okay.
The head
the door?
the head facing the door.
So that means you're facing backwards.
If your
Sorry,
head
the feet.
if your head is
Or is it
facing
both?
if your head is facing the door,
is-
is there a window?
Wait, is this the bedroom door, or are we talking the front door?
The bedroom
The
door.
bedroom door.
Okay, the bedroom door. Okay.
The bedroom door. I don't know if your bedroom. Most bedrooms, I believe, there should be a window, either a big window or a small window. Otherwise, it's quite claustrophobic, right? So if normally the window and the door, they kind of align. I think, if you have your door here, you will have a window right in front of it. So if what you say that your head is facing the door, your legs will be facing the window. So it's a no still.
Justin, your bedroom, is your feet facing the door?
No. So my bed is just right next to the window.
Okay.
Just right next to the window, parallel. The bed is actually facing the same direction as the door, the entrance, but it's not directly in front. So just imagine in front of you there's a room, but the door is actually sideways, not in the middle. So the bed is in the middle. Once I open the door, I don't open the door from the middle, from the middle, but on the side. So open the door, go in, you look at the room, the bed is in the middle. Next to the bed, there's a big window. So the window and the door, they are not on the same direction. They're not facing each other as well.
How about yours? Your
Yep. So
your feet facing the door?
no.
Yours?
No.
Well, my feet's facing the door. Not because of this superstitious stuff, it's because if anyone break into the house, I can hear and I can jump out and defend the family. That's the purpose of it.
Makes sense?
Face the door so I can attack the intruder if I get attacked.
You got a point.
That's it.
But I gotta make a point here. For me, it's not so much of a belief that this is not good or stuff like that. But I'm a light sleeper. If I were to sleep in front of the door, each time the door is being opened, I will be frightened. Now I will be, woken up from my sleep. So it's a good reason why I don't want the bed to be facing the door.
So maybe you guys, that's why you guys got long relationship and I've got many ex-wives. Because my feet is always facing the door. That is another episode. Okay. Now, this is what I heard, is that whoever sleeps, so in husband and wife in the bed, so whoever sleeps closest to the door is the boss of the family. Leonard, who sleeps closest to the door?
Definitely my wife.
Oh, there you go. See? Is there coincidence? Is that? I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. Okay. Now, to end this rather interesting podcast, this is the last point. Don't buy second-hand mirrors. Now, I heard this from my parents. Don't buy second-hand mirrors. Because my parents or my mom loves to collect antiques. Yeah. And I've heard her say, no, this is beautiful in mirror, and they go, no, don't buy it because this is an old mirror. And the thing is, you do not know what the mirror has been reflecting from the previous owners. It's like, So Elaine, I know this topic here is quite interesting for you. Tell us, why is there a perception not to buy second-hand mirrors or to decorate the house with second-hand mirrors?
Well, what I've heard is that mirrors, they do absorb spirits. Spirits do live in mirror.
Oh, yeah.
So as what you mentioned, you don't know what the mirror has seen, what has been trapped in the mirror. You definitely do not want to buy a second-hand mirror. Just to be safe.
Have you got mirrors in your house?
I honestly don't know too much about mirrors,
Yeah.
but what I would like to try to avoid are the human-looking doors. I think those would creep me out.
Oh, you mean like the real, like those?
I'm talking about like things like Annabelle, Chucky.
Chucky, yeah, Chucky.
Oh, no, sir.
Oh.
Mirrors, they don't do anything to me. Yes, I do have mirrors at home.
Shit, I actually bought a bloody Annabelle doll. Like those replica ones? I
Oh
actually
my
got it,
god.
I would
bought
try to
one.
avoid them. It's just simply because they look creepy to me. That's it.
Like,
Yep.
Anybody wants a
Absolutely
free one?
agree.
I'm happy to post out. Just let me know if you want a free. I can give you my Annabelle replica doll. I actually do have one.
That's
Yeah,
creepy.
Yeah. So I put it in my son's room, and my son refused to go into the room.
That is creepy.
Dad, why did you put this in my room?
That's your prank, right?
Yeah, Dad goes, because I've got nowhere else to put it. So I put it in your room, son. And my son refused to sleep in his room. Yeah. So what happens, like, Elaine, for Leonard, in his bedroom, there's a lot of mirrors. Especially on the ceiling, there's a heart-shaped mirror in his bedroom. What does that mean, huh?
I don't think that's my bed, man. I think you got it mixed up.
I wouldn't sleep with a mirror facing in front of me as well. I would cover it.
How come?
Well, that's just simply because if you wake up in the middle of the night with no lights on, and sometimes you do see shadows, and I don't know what you see sometimes, it might frighten you, isn't it?
I grew up watching a lot of Chinese or Asian ghost movies.
Yes.
Just imagine yourself sleeping in front of a mirror. When you wake up, someone long hair. I don't know why they always use somebody long hair. Female or male, it can be either. Combing the hair, looking into the mirror. You can't see the face, but it will turn around. You know, he or she knows that you are awake. It will turn around, look at you, and
No.
those are the scenes that I remember.
Oh, you mean my ex-wife?
Oh.
Yeah, could be.
Why haven't you paid child support, Gerard? Something like that, no?
Yeah.
Is it Asian? 我的钱呢?
Oh
Could
my
be good,
God.
that's right.
So I think this sort of sums up our topic for today. I think this is quite an interesting. I thought we'll have a bit of fun, and I hope the viewers, you viewers, find that it was also a bit of a fun topic. If you enjoyed this video cast, if you want us to talk about perhaps haunted properties or how to avoid haunted houses, let us know if that's what you want us to talk about. So thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you.
Until next time, guys. Goodbye for now.
See you guys.
See ya.
See you.